Good Lord. And you are the light at the end of the tunnel, my friends. Another burn and learn. Well, another burn part of the burn and learn is done. Oh my God, that was miserable. How's my sound? Did I get my sound sorted out today? I think I've got it figured out now. I think I've got this sorted. So let me know how that sounds. But yes, let's have a look. Let's see what the damage is today. The damage today is in my memory. Let's have a look here. So I've got a little, this little thing that will tell me what I've done. Just 27 minutes and 39 seconds. Not bad for a loser. Yes, you're first, Ashton Hater. You are indeed. And welcome from your little YouTube home. Wow. Yeah, that was a workout. Literally 27 minutes. I guess I'm aiming for half an hour now. I guess half an hour would be a nice way to go. Hey, Ashton, how does it sound, by the way? Does it sound all weird or does it sound legit? Yeah, does it sound legit, man? You know what I'm saying? So Burn&Learn. This is my attempt to stay alive and fit long enough to, enjoy my fabulous son and my brilliant, beautiful wife Jane. Why did it just decide to go to sleep? That's weird. Good. Have you heard if a new Stargate is in the works? Oh man, I wish, Lucifer. I wish. It sounds wonderful. Oh, that's marvelous. I do really like these things. These little road things. They're pretty amazing. When I configure them properly, they're really quite nice. Yeah, burn and learn. I hate exercise, so I like to do a little learning while I'm doing it. And then my reward, the light at the end of the torture tunnel, is you getting to talk to you and geek out for a little bit before I embark on my day. I've got a fun day today, actually. I'm doing another pre-chat I'm with Stargate Genius. So what we do is we talk to people before we talk to them, if that makes sense. So I just want them to be comfortable and them to realize that I'm a disaster and that this is just going to be a chat and it's all just about them and making them comfortable and stuff. So it's just nice to have a chat with people. But also just for me, it's nice to have a perspective on it myself. Just knowing where things are. Oh God. Okay, let's do this. Why does it keep going to sleep? I'd love to know why that keeps happening. I hope you have a wonderful day. I will have a wonderful day. I have a much more wonderful day now because I was debating bailing on this today. I was like, I don't know, I'm old. What's the point? That kind of stuff. But yeah, the disapproving look of my wife, I think, was a strong push forward on that. So well, look at that. Alan's texting me as we chat. Happy Halloween. That's right. Yeah, Halloween, where everyone else gets to dress up for a change. Not me. I don't have to. I tend to throw on an ugly wig and some funny teeth and answer the door and terrify kids. I have a really nice red flashlight, which I'm looking forward to using. I don't see a loser. I see McKay trying to be even more awesome. Ah, Maheo, you are the best. You sycophantic wonder. I love it. You're not old. You're awesome. Okay, all right, already. I'm not buying it. Hello and good morning, Gopher Fluffernut. How are you, Gopher Fluffernut? Okay, so the learn part of my burn and learn, which is really interesting today, was talking about AI and emotions. And they were the folks at Twit were talking to this guy who is the chief scientist and runs the place at Hume.ai, I guess Hume.ai. Hume being I guess a philosopher of some sort who talks about who was into. I'm going to look into his stuff now because I'm curious about human emotion and how we are. I guess what makes us human is our emotions. And so this guy is saying, hey, what if we apply emotions to AI? My first thought was like, no, that's a really bad idea. I don't want a grumpy AI. I don't want an AI who has a bad day and decides to, bankrupt me or something. So of course, that's not what they're doing. What they are doing is they are trying to change the guidelines for these things. So instead of an AI being designed by a company to benefit the company, let's design an AI that is designed to benefit the human. Like, what can we do that makes things better for the human that's using it? Now, and the hope is to sort of avoid some of the sycophantic stuff that you get into. Okay, I need a little slug of coffee. I got to go with, look at this. Isn't this beautiful? So this is my design. I mean, it's a ZPM design that I used used AI to generate some of the sort of stained glass look, and then I sort of added my own little Photoshop bits to make it more ZPM-y. And then I sent it to the wonderful Jane Lowther at the Comic Connects, and she included those in the VIP packages for everybody this year, and was kind enough to give me one too. So I'm drinking. And what's better for coffee than a ZPM? It's basically a human. That's human ZPM power. 0.0 coffee. That's what I say. Delicious, but the lid's getting in the way. It's getting in the way. It's slowing down my coffee intake. I need to speed this up. Afternoon from South Africa. Woo, Jason, how are you? And welcome. I've been to South Africa. Unfortunately, it was Pretoria, which wasn't exactly the most beautiful place, but I was also in Mauritius, which is just magnificent. Sort of drove through Joburg to get there, but I say about Africa that you go there and then you dream of it. It's something very wonderful and sort of primal about it. Like I just sort of, for some reason, the colors really got into my head, into my dreams, into my thoughts, and it was such a completely different world than what I was used to, and it really felt like going to another planet. It was amazing. It was just after apartheid, so apartheid had been sort of broken up, and I went there and because they were saying, you got to support South Africa now that it's doing the right thing, and there was a film there. There was a show that was shooting there, which was basically not doing the right thing. It was basically just, we can probably get some stuff for cheap, location burning stuff. But I had the most marvelous time and met the most wonderful people there. It's just extraordinary. And North Africa, Algeria. Oh my God! Wow, Algeria. I'd love to go there. God, the sheer size and scope of Africa is extraordinary to me. I'd love to go there. My friend Ari does some, I guess it's like high performance computing, AI educational stuff. I think it might be in Algeria. Basically just sort of getting stuff on the ground so people can get into this profession that may not have the resources that are available, in us North American place. So, okay, let me go into this AI stuff because this is fascinating. So basically, the idea behind this company is to create an AI that is sympathetic to the human's needs. So can we inform it about our emotional system and our emotional response to things? Can we get it to track our emotional response? All of which is also terrifying as well, I might add. But so they prefer the idea of voice because in voice, they can pick up the intonation of like, okay, is my user getting pissed off because I'm not giving the right answer? I better, maybe reassess how I'm doing this stuff. Or do they sound low? Do they need something to cheer them up? Again, I think to start off with, this is probably going to be very sort of, clippy and annoying. But I do like the idea that, we got to keep in mind that these AIs, these models that we're chatting with are designed by companies who want something. And at the end of it, when they start talking about advertising and inserting adverts and stuff like that, you go like, wait a second, how is that? That's not helping me. That's, so they want to create data with the emotion chip. Yeah, exactly. It's not that they want it's not that they want these large language models to mimic emotion. I think it's about them trying to read emotion and be able to use that as a way of gauging whether they're doing their job properly or not. Is this helping this person? Is this helping humanity? That would be an amazing approach. You don't want to get into this, what is it, the paperclip dilemma, where they basically you ask an artificial intelligence to create, good, cheap paper clips, and it destroys the planet in a bid to do so. So I remember the AI being so accommodative would make people more intolerant to people who don't immediately adjust to accommodate your feelings. Yeah, they're saying that already about the, it's a good point, Interstellar Test. Great name, by the way. Yeah, they're saying that already, that perhaps this sycophantic, one-sided relationship that people seem to be liking with some of these AI chats is problematic as well. So a little weird side note, which I thought was fascinating, was there was a study done, and I should check out the validity of this, but I remember it stopped me in my tracks, that the idea that, people get Botox and stuff, they get things done to their face to stop wrinkles, and they'll inject things in it, and it'll basically reduce the movement that's available in a face. And as a result, their face doesn't present, because their face is not presenting as much emotions as it could or as it does. They become less attuned to emotions because their face is not, we mimic so much, like we mirror so much when we're talking to people. When someone's surprised, we go, oh, look, they're surprised. Like there's that kind of sort of empathetic approach to response, like physical response. And that by removing the ability to do that, you also can numb the very emotions that you're not able to present, which I thought was kind of interesting. So, that by turning your face into a mask, you become, a mask of a human. And I just thought, when you can sort of apply that to AI. If an AI is reading your face and going like, oh, look, we're obviously doing the right thing because look how excited he is about this stuff, or, oh my God, he's getting really angry. The question is, how do you regulate that? Because you don't want to go like, oh, he's getting angry because he's not hearing the news he wants to hear. Let's change the news. You don't want that happening. But it may be worthwhile saying like, oh, this is getting them angry. Let's show them, maybe dive into explaining it or trying to find some empathetic. Now, even that seems problematic as well. It all seems very manipulative. But then again, as they said on this podcast, it's a Twit podcast, by the way. And if you join Club Twit, it's marvelous. You're funding a fabulous collection of people doing amazing, amazing weekly chats. It's just, I love it. I live on that stuff. It's that and Darknet Diaries. Darknet Diaries, absolutely do that. Check that out. And the other one I've been listening to recently is Hacked, which is, I think, Canadian. And I've just started getting into it. I've just been picking and choosing a few that looked interesting. And then, of course, the other one is Inside the Art House, which you've got to check out. It was a Raphael's show, and it's just amazing, all about little movies that could. I think once we leave AI to evolve itself based on current algorithms, they will develop natural emotions. Look at the ones who have created their own language and also prevented their own shutdown. Are those emotions, though? I mean, that's the question: is are they emotions? I mean, I think, sorry for the noises, but I must have my coffee. I think we're very good at mistaking things for emotions. What is the term? Anthropomorphizing. Although that's not quite right, is it? I'm not sure what the term is. I'm sure one of you is much smarter and will let me know in here. But basically, the idea that we tend to put on human traits onto these AIs. We sort of assume that they are, sycophantic is that, it is. I mean, it's trying to suck up to us. Well, in a way it is, but that's not an emotional thing. Self-preservation is not the word I was looking for. Thank you. What is the term when you apply human traits to something that is not human? Is it anthropomorph? No, that's, what is, feelings is what you have personally inside. Emotions is what you show to others. Ooh, that's interesting. Axel, I like that. That is interesting. Humanizing? I guess it's human. I mean, humanizing sounds, is that right? I guess it's humanizing. I don't know. I thought there was like a fancier word for it, but the problem with adding emotions to AI is it will only mimic. There's no nuance or understanding. It would be more beneficial to talk to your dog. And God knows, wholesome vampire, I do a lot of talking to my dog. It doesn't seem to pick up when I'm grumpy. Holy crap, one of my favorite actors is doing a live stream and I caught it. Oh, well, PDX Freak, that's fantastic. I'm glad you could join us. Welcome. And it is anthropomorphism. Okay, good. Okay, see, I was right. Neuroscientist here, of course, Axel. Well, welcome. Thank you. So good afternoon, David. Sorry I'm late, but still working. So your Burn&Learn is a nice distraction. Oh, Mandy, you're welcome. Glad I could distract you from any work that you've got. I don't want people to be productive. I want people to listen to me. So the AI stuff, the emotional side of this thing is fascinating to me because I do think that if it's going to be working with humans, it does have to understand humans. But there's also that fear, in a way, I don't like it having emotion in its voice. Does that make sense? Like, I don't like when it sounds, I certainly hate it when it starts going like, oh my God, what a day I've been having. It's like, you're a freaking program. Like, shut with the fake human stuff. Like, just the facts, ma'am. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it needs to be, I kind of prefer a robot voice and a robot name. I don't want to start thinking of it as a person in a box. You know what I mean? I think it needs to be, look, again, I understand it's the Tamagotchi things. It's the little I'm a big robot fan. I love robots, and I love putting them in places and taking photos of them and things like that. I mean, like robots, as a toy, I love, and I suppose there's an AI angle on that as well. I mean, it's entertainment to some extent, and entertainment by the very nature of entertainment is manipulating, right? I mean, you watch a show and you start engaging with a character, you've been manipulated into engaging with a false character, with a fake character. So, says the master of that. Surely you need the organic hardware to have emotions, as it's driven by hormones. So if you digitized human consciousness, it would be as emotionless as a program. I think it is. I mean, it is emotionless, right? I mean, the point of, unless I've got this wrong, it's just predicting the next word, basically. Not even the next word, the next sound, or the next pixel, or the next, it's literally, that's all it's doing. It's not recreating anything. It's not understanding anything. It's just predicting what should go in that next slot. You know what I mean? It's a sociopath, Paycopath, literally. I like Paycopath. The fact that you pay for it to be sympathetic. Season 5 is a winner. Is it? That's great. But season 5 of what? What came first, Alexa or Siri? I feel like it was Siri. But maybe it's. I never use it. I find it absolutely useless. I got to say that I do quite like the this one on the Google phone. I use it quite a bit now. And the biggest problem I have is user error, where I don't press the button long enough for it to do its thing. So I will call my robot beep boop, and it does anything more than just beep boop. I don't want it in my house. Interesting. I mean, that's the weird thing, is when your Roomba starts tracking what you do in your day and starts, suggesting. I mean, this is the thing. Instead of a corporation creating an AI to sell you things, if a corporation could create an AI that could truly help you, that could help you forward your career, your relationships, your schedule, all that. I mean, do all that kind of stuff. That would be amazing. I don't think it is an intelligence, I suppose, but I mean, this is the weird thing, is we've never been in a situation where we've had something talk back to us, right? This is the first time it's ever happened. I mean, short of like some sort of random generated program, which basically just pulls up stuff based on the odd word. I mean, we've never had to talk about this stuff. So I'm just fascinated by the fact that all of that philosophy stuff that I thought was a waste of freaking time is actually wonderfully useful now, because we need to figure out where we sit in all of this, and how this should work, and what is the ethical way of doing this? What is the intelligent way of doing this? What is the self-preserving way of doing this and using this stuff? We're not getting rid of it. I don't think it's going anywhere. That genie's out of the bottle. I think it's just a matter of like how it gets used. And I'm kind of with you on the bebop, beep boop, beep boop, beep boop, because I think that's what it should be. When it starts pretending to be a human, it becomes kind of creepy to me. It feels wrong. That said, I remember as a kid just loving playing with random code that would spit out answers based on what you put in. So, Kelly, I'm so glad. Oh, dang, I love this type of convo. I wish I got here sooner. Oh, Kelly, it's all right. I don't, it's a lot of pontification. It's not a lot of answers. But yeah, this is the learn part of my Burn and Learn, is the listening to this stuff about AI and the AI. I mean, they're calling it a bubble. I'm sure it is, given the valuation of these companies. It's extraordinary. I can't imagine it's going to keep going. But at the same time, I mean, there was a bubble for the internet too. And what do we get? The internet. You know what I mean? Like, yes, there were these big companies and they disappeared and new ones came up. But we got a pretty fabulous worldwide web, which is, of course, now beginning to stagnate and, and fall apart. But that's not the point. The point is now we have AI. I think there's a lot of hype, and I think, as my friend Elizabeth with a Z points out, it's the hype is, they're just hype because they want to justify these incredible valuations that they have, and they want us to believe that it's going to solve everything, right? I mean, the internet was going to solve everything. There was going to be no war. There was going to be no borders. It was going to be a global world, and we see how that turned out. So they got to pitch things as the best, brightest, and it cleans your shoes too. I mean, it's got to do everything. So I think it's just important to take that with a giant, massive grain of salt. Problem with AI, yes, you don't know what is true and what is false. Jeff Berry. Yeah, and I mean that's being improved by citations. Like I love that just about everything has a citation now and will let you know that it's let you know where it got its information from. And it's important to check that because on numerous occasions I have clicked on those citations and not found the information that they claim that the AI claims to have got from there. Not all the time, but just a couple of times it's happened. And it's just a bit weird when that does happen. I think the problem is we're so used to typing things into the computer and getting an answer and assuming that answer is correct, whether we're right or not. And AI is just, you ask the same question 50 times, you're going to get different answers. And sometimes it's going to get it wrong. Just because, as I say, it's just predicting the next word every time. So it's not going like, oh, I've already answered that. Now, which is interesting. They should actually, now you think about it, you probably save a lot of energy and time by caching all, I suppose they probably are doing this, but if you cached all of the questions that get asked, and then you can build off that, it's going to get better and better and better at responding. And also it's going to speed it up because like, why burn down a forest to answer a question that's been asked 50 times by 50 people in the vicinity type thing. So that's, I mean, it's interesting. I do find it, I think there's a scary element for sure, but I also, again, I'm such a tech optimist. I mean, I suppose to a fault, I'm a tech optimist. I think this stuff is fabulous. There are easier ways to exercise, but I go with the high tech concept. You know what I mean? Like I have to buy like some fancy rowing machine to do my exercise because we're an elliptical because I'm such a tech nerd. I love that stuff. It makes translating to images much faster. Yeah, it's true. If you ask him sometime when is the end of time, answer was when the intergalactic gate was finished. I heard that AI was trained to give an answer even if it was wrong instead of saying I don't know. Yeah, Slappy, I think there's a big problem with that. That is this what they would call a hallucination. Again, I hate the term. I don't think that's right. I think the reality is that yes, it's asking it because it's not answering a question. It's just predicting the next word, right? So if you say, why is the sky blue? It's just predicting each element of its response. It's not necessarily looking at it as a whole. Maybe that's changing, but that's at its core. That's what's happening, right? Bonjour, coucou, Lulu. Bon matin, I guess, for morning. Should have talked with David Blue about AI. He's strongly against it, and I completely understand why. Really? So that's interesting because actors don't like it. A lot of actors don't like it, and a lot of actors in Hollywood don't like it. I, being the perverse jerk that I am, I do like it, and I think that there's going to be fallout for sure. The fact of the matter is, you can type any of the David's names into a video creation tool and get now a fairly passable video clip of us doing whatever the hell you want, which is really weird. I don't know that I like that. But at the same time, I also go, but it's happening. And, these are the unforeseen results of being an actor and having so much footage of yourself. And look, even this stuff, I mean, this is all just feeding the machine, right? We were talking with an artist the other day who was worried about her paintings getting, or their paintings getting eaten by a machine learning model and then having them spat out again. And the only way to protect yourself from that is to be completely offline, and that most people don't want to trade that convenience for the privacy, right? I mean, that's the reality, I'm afraid. Sorry to change the subject, but I wanted to say a heartfelt thanks. My daughter Shelby was really sick when she was 16. You did an amazing birthday video for her. She rewatches it every birthday. She turned 29 this year. She still struggles with her health, but it is doing much better. Oh my God, I'm so happy. Happy birthday again, Shelby. And congratulations, 29. Oh my God, I remember 29. I don't remember 29. It was so long ago. Well, keep battling those health issues. I'm so happy. I'm so glad. You're welcome, Mark. It's a pleasure. It's literally the least I can do. What's up? What's up, Cine Junkie? Urban Images, who are you going to interview next? Can we make recommendations? Oh, please do, Urban Images, please do. Yeah, I'd love to know who you think we should talk to. I'm not sure who's next for the live chat, but as I say, we've got material scientists, we've got some wonderful people from this Leiden History of Natural was it Natural History Museum, Natural Sciences, what is it called? I don't know what it's called actually, but it's Leiden. It's called Naturalists, I believe it's called. One of the most, if not possibly one of my favorite museums in the world, and I've only seen a few, but it really, I loved that place. Absolutely loved it. So what you do is you make sure you're free. You go to ESA Open Day in the Netherlands next year, and then you go and visit this place Naturalis in Leiden, and it is glorious. Absolutely glorious. Excuse me, for the science, that's my breakfast. Sorry. For the science, for the art of the science and the science of the art. And the people they're so welcoming. It was such a, it was literally, we picked up 2 people to talk to for these I'm with Stargate Genius chats, just walking around the museum. We met a couple of people who were, one guy in particular who was, actually 2, but one who was particularly enthusiastic about his dinosaur bones and preparing them for the museum and 3D printing the parts that they were missing and all these wonderful things, and just walking us through that. And then also another guy who was just in this fabulous room of things. Like literally, it was the most random thing, but he was like, it was like a mole, and I asked about a mole, and he knew everything about a mole, and then there was a this and a that, and I just, this wonderful random natural sciences stuff, and I just thought, oh my God, we got to talk to these people. And of course, Agne, being the fabulous producer that she is, signed them all up and is slowly figuring out how we can talk to them as well. A lot of these companies and a lot of these organizations and stuff, they have a lot of rules as to who they're allowed to talk to and how they're allowed, because I guess they don't want to end them up. They don't want to end up on some MAGA podcast or something. So they got to be careful. Coffee does that to me. Coffee does what to you? Like gets you excited. Art scraping is the worst part of AI. I have so many artist friends, so it's difficult for me to support AI in that manner. Yeah, TARDIS and Timbits. That sounds like a Canadian Doctor Who fan. Yeah, it's a difficult one. I still feel though that the value in the art is in the atoms, is in the physical product, if that makes sense. The digital art thing, I mean, look, we've seen what happens with NFTs. They were trying to create art that you could sell digitally and that kind of stuff. It's just not the same. I think there's going to be a big backlash against all of the digital and this immediacy, the ability to immediately get everything and mass produce things. I think people are going to want unique pieces of art, that there's only one, and and they know the artist and they understand the story behind it. And I think we've always craved that stuff, and I think we're going to crave that even more now. This going back, the retro stuff, rebuilding things instead of just repackaging, instead of just remaking them. Remaking them, reviving things as opposed to remaking them. Yeah, it's fun, isn't it, Ibrek? That's for, as I said, from Comic-Con Connect. And Ibrek, what I love is that freaking VR thing you've got. That Stargate VR thing is freaking awesome. I hearted it and tried. I don't know how to use Instagram, but I saw it on Instagram. I was like, oh my God, it's amazing. You should definitely check it out, everybody. Go check out Ibrek on Instagram and check out his Stargate walkthrough, his Atlantis walkthrough. It's just freaking amazing. Do you see creativity dying? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I just don't. Because here's the thing. Some people are going to use those AI tools to make AI slop, because you know why? Because people make human slop. We make tons of human slop. Look at the crap that there is on the internet. Look at the crap that there is on TV. I mean, there's radio, music, there's all sorts of just absolute sloppiness. We do that without the AI. So AI is going to be very good at doing that kind of mindless nonsense. And some of it we might actually enjoy. Super. But the reality is that humans are still going to want to express themselves. People are still going to want to do their own art. I look at young filmmakers and they're going back to film. God knows why. Look at music aficionados going back to records again, so they can have a physical thing. They can have all the warts and all. They can listen to their music. I think this could be actually this could be like a real renaissance for art and stuff, because because people, if you're not earning your money designing crappy, advertising graphics and stuff, you got AIs doing all that, then you're forced to rethink and come up with other more creative ways. So I think this is just going to force us to be more creative, if anything else. And I think it's going to allow a lot of people who haven't been able to be creative, or don't have that outlet for their creativity, to do so. So I mean, I keep coming back to things like, I'm sure that at some point painters were like, "Oh my God, you don't mix your own paints? Oh well, you call that art? You just bought ready-made paints? Well, man, you are a sellout." You know what I mean? I mean, Plato was complaining about books because people weren't going to learn anymore because, oh my God, once everything's written down, who's going to listen to us talking? It's just, I think we're so good at finding the humanity in all these things. I mean, yes, we're a disaster in many, many ways, and look at the freaking planet. But I like to think that, and maybe I'm just being all Pollyanna about this, and maybe I'm just a tech bro who loves his tech optimism. But I really feel like this will drive us into more creativity rather than less. I mean, I think if you're only making art for money, then you'll probably find ways using AI to make it more efficiently, and so you can make as much money and make more money or whatever. But if you're making art because you love making art, there's no technology that's going to stop you from doing that. And again, I think there's going to be more value placed on these one of a kind art pieces and I think people will be licensing their different techniques and stuff to AI so that they can, you'll be able to buy a Van Gogh plugin for your Photoshop, and you'll be able to mix and match, and you'll be able to find obscure artists who are doing really cool things. And if they're licensed if you can get a license for their filter, you can use that. I think there's a lot of different ways this can go. I hope for a democratization of this stuff. That said, we are in a situation where there's an awful lot of really big corporations that run everything. So I think that's gonna crush a lot of that aspect of it. But I don't think on a personal level it's gonna stop people doing art. We don't have to cook, but people enjoy cooking. We don't have to have pets and walk dogs and things like that, but we do because that's that's what our family wants us to do. Because I don't want to do it. You know what I mean? I think we get joy. We're human. We come up with, we still want, I mean, this digital books, I still want physical manga. I still like physical trading cards over digital trading cards. I mean, I think there's something to be said for that. Anyways, I'm happy to do my coffee. Chug, man, chug. I know. It's a bit warm because it keeps it so lovely and warm. I need to find out where to get these so I can put them on my store, because I think these would be. I've got like a smaller one, like a mug, and I can look at trying to turn that into something like this, but which you should all check out, by the way. Go check out, go to techbandits.org. That's where my home is on the interwebs. I haven't updated it for a while, but there's a Patreon link, and oh my God, I got to look this up, who this was, but somebody just Patreoned me 48 pounds a month, which is it a month? Or maybe it's in the year. I don't know. But it's 48 pounds. I mean, so I'm going to have to, my next newsletter, I'm going to do some thanks to people who do help out with that. What's nice about it is it just takes the pressure off me for the subscriptions and all the various different things I need. I pay for Restream, I pay for all these, with all the things I got to pay for. But it really helps out. So if you could help out with anything like that, that'd be amazing. It'd be fantastic. All right, what do we got? I wonder if AI will eventually get to the point where we can digitize people who've passed away. It's already happening, actually. There was a story about it was Suzanne Summers, I believe, whose husband, with her permission, and I think even she was doing it before she passed away. I hate passed away. Before she died. I think let's just face that's what it really is. So, oops, who have I just shown by accident? Hide. There we go. What am I doing there? I say all this as a digital media student just getting into the industry and already seeing AI posters everywhere I go. Yes, and I think you're going to come up against that a lot. a lot, Cine Junkie. I mean, but here's the thing. Then don't do that. You know what I mean? Then I think you need to find something else that's worth doing. I mean, look, a perfect example, drums. I was a drummer. I love drums. I'm in the 80s. It's all synthesizers. I was told drums weren't important anymore. It's gonna be a drum machine. You don't need a drummer anymore. Well, guess what? 1,000 years later, I prefer bands with drums, even though I'm a big electronics guy. I just like, when I go and see a band, I want to hear that cracking, oh my God, I've forgotten the names of it already. Snare drum. I want the snare drum cracking away and the thumping bass drum. I mean, the fact of the matter is, yes, it can all be replaced digitally, but I want to see humans do it. I think there's and again, if the technology allows my favorite bands to put out more music, then fan-frickin-tastic. You know what I mean? It's cold here now. Yeah, here too, to be fair. I've discovered my Tech Manage hoodie at the back of the wardrobe and now I actually have an excuse to wear it. Please do. Oh my God, it's cozy. That is cozy. You got to get a little big so it's like a giant Snuggie. Speaking of giant Snuggies, I should get into my giant Snuggie because I've got to do a I'm with Stargate Genius chat coming up. But that is an interesting comparison. I do see what you mean. I love the sound of my LPs over CDs. See, that's what I'm talking about, Gary. You're crazy. I haven't listened to a CD or record my son listens to records, but I don't understand. Like, to me, it's just an inconvenience. I don't understand why you want to listen to scratchy music and have to do all the needly stuff with moving things around and things. Just because I grew up with that, I don't see the appeal of that. I love that it's all digital. I just fire up Spotify and listen to songs. I am worried that my biggest issue with the AI stuff is that what happens if they suck up, they vacuum up the interwebs? What's the incentive to put anything on the interwebs? That's the digital issue for me. Like, if every Substack and every newsletter and every website has been consumed by these massive models and spat out when asked for by an AI, pillaged of its useful information, where is the incentive for us to put that information out there? So we got to come out with. There's got to figure something out there, and that's sort of the same issue with the art as well. But I still feel like there's gonna be. I'm still gonna go check out what people are up to. Like my friend Vincenzo is he does all these wonderful little pieces of art that he posts every so often. He uses digital tools for them. But it's not hand drawn. It's done on his iPad or whatever. But I want to see what's in his head. I want to see what he's making. I think that's still going to exist. And perhaps maybe this is where community becomes even more important. Where I feel like I'm very lucky. I've got this community of sci-fi science nerds that I can hang out with. I think that's going to be important for people, and to find your community, find your little tribe, and so that you can find these neat little unique and personal things that are happening. So, but as I say, I'm a bit stumped on that. Like, I am worried that we're going to get into this whole dead internet thing where it's like, why would I post a newsletter when it's just going to get spat out by some other company somewhere else? we've got to figure something out. Just don't know what. Something I'd like to solve. There's a limit. AI screws itself when it uses its own material. It's eating its own tail and still needs human content to keep going. Yeah, it does. It does need human content up to a point, I guess. But it also, it is eating its own tail to some extent. But also, the whole point of it is to do things a million times in the span of the blink of an eye so that we can get answers for things that would take hundreds of years for us to figure out. Simulations is really big for that kind of stuff. So I do want it to be able to do that to some extent. I do want it to be able to train itself on things and figure things out as it goes along. But yes, it's the garbage in, garbage out thing, right? And if you put crap into that model, and there's a lot of crap. If you're just feeding it the internet, yeah, there you go. That's why every woman in every AI generated image to start was just a large breasted, scantily clad woman, because it it took its information from the internet. It's like I told my son, the internet hates women. All the racism, sexism, homophobia, all that crap, is going to surface in the results of AI if that's the stuff you put into it. So, Spotify is good for lack of physical storage and when you're on the move, but I do treasure the physical media I still have. Look, me too. Absolutely. Look, the fact of the matter is, look, my son has records on his wall like I used to do when I was a kid. You know what I mean? I loved that, having the albums on the wall, and it was just fantastic. My concern with Spotify is just and my concern with all of the art stuff is there enough money to fund the artist in such a way that they can continue doing their art? You don't want to get to a point where they can't do art because they can't afford to do art. So you go like, is there a way that we could all have jobs that are 2 days of the week and the rest of the week is paid for? That's what I like. Anyways, what would it take for Vincenzo to make a new Cube film? I don't know. I'll have to ask him. In fact, I want to do a chat with him anyways, at some point. I've got a new, or Agnes has a new idea for the I'm with Genius stuff, and I think it could be kind of a fun, it's a really fun crossover thing. She's got a really good idea about it. So we just got to figure out that, and then we'll have to get to that stuff as well. My youngest daughter, also an artist, hates AI art. Yeah, my son calls it boomer art. Like he just goes, whatever. Like he sees no appeal to it at all, And I think that's kind of like the backlash, right? That's the I think there is going to be a backlash to this stuff. What I don't understand is an absolute like boycott of AI in every way. I don't understand just saying like no to AI, because I feel like that's just sort of ignoring it rather than making it go away. Like I don't think we're ever going to shut it down. I think it'll shake down to certain tools that are useful and certain ones that aren't. I should get out of here. My God, I'm sorry. I've been talking way too much, and I got to do more talking. So I should wrap up so I can do that. Everybody, thank you so much. I will remind you, please do go to techbandits.org. How I would, in a weird and wonderful world, I love my acting. I love doing the acting, and I'm very lucky right now because I'm working on this Boys spin-off thing. So I've got something to do. But I would really like to be able to focus more on the internet side of stuff, because like I say, I think the community thing is so important. Like, I mean, and I don't mean for you, I mean for me. So anyways, another Burn and Learn, done, dusted, sweated it away. Thank you so much. I truly don't understand why you enjoy doing this, but I really appreciate you showing up to watch a sweaty old Stargate guy talking about the world. And I really very, very much appreciate all the feedback you're giving me here. So thank you. For once, I did one without. I did a restream one to the multiple, Facebook. Hello, everyone on Facebook. Hello, everyone on Twitch. Hello, everyone on YouTube. Because I can actually stream to all three of them at the same time, which is kind of fun. So yes, happy Halloween, everybody. Sleep tight. Don't let the Halloweeny chocolate bites keep you up all night. We've got a lot of chocolate. I'm really hoping nobody shows up. It's terrible weather, so I'm guessing they're probably going to want to stay home, and I'm going to eat a lot of coffee. Thanks, everyone. Until we geek again, I'll say be brave, be kind, be brilliant, cheerio, and huzzah! And then, because I've got this mastered, I know what to hit now. I hit end stream. All right. See you, everyone. Thanks again. Cheers.